This video is sponsored by Manscaped. Now, Manscaped has been instrumental in making my videos actually exist. And it helps that it's a product that I use all the time. I have 2 of their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmers, and let me tell you, I get so much use out of these bad boys. I think my favorite feature is the travel lock. I can throw this guy in my travel bag and rest assured that it is not going to turn on by accident and like shred my toothbrush or something. Also, this thing keeps a charge like crazy. I feel like I never have to charge it. I think I've charged it like twice, ever. But they've also got other products like the Ultra Smooth package, which contains all the goods necessary to go bold and go bald. So if you've heard about the hype and you want to get in on it yourself, you can get 20% off plus free international shipping when you use promo code Cosmonaut at manscaped.com/Cosmonaut. I've gotten Manscaped products for all my friends and family, and they love them. It will always have my seal of approval. Again, that's 20% off plus free international shipping when you click the link below and use promo code Cosmonaut at checkout. Have you ever had an idea for a piece of media? A concept for a movie or show that only lives inside your brain? A premise or a framework for a story that you know people would love. And then you get kind of mad and frustrated because it doesn't exist. And for me, there's one idea in particular that has been haunting me for a while now. See, a few years ago, I made an X-Men video where I watched all the movies and reviewed them. Pretty funny video, you can go watch it if you want. And while I had been a casual X-Men fan, for that video, I took it upon myself to read a lot of the comics because I hadn't really done that before. And the thing is, normally when I make a big video like this, I end the series with a strong desire to distance myself from the thing that I just spent months consuming. Sometimes I kind of get sick of the thing that I'm reviewing. But for some reason, I'm still reading X-Men comics. I've been reading them since I finished the video. It became kind of a ritual for me. Every night before bed, I read some X-Men. It feels good. I got really attached to the characters. It's been like this for a few years now, and as I read the comics and immerse in the world of mutants, I have this nagging thought. I wonder to myself, where are all the good X-Men games? No, really, think about it. The X-Men are strangely absent from the gaming world, at least as far as good games are concerned.
I love this song.
We've got side-scrolling beat-em-ups.
Begun. The Clone War has.
We even have a few God of War ripoffs, some movie tie-ins, a lot of fighting games. Some are really good, some are really bad. But out of all of these games, even the ones that are good, none of them capture the essence of the X-Men. And yeah, we have a Wolverine game coming out pretty soon, and that's cool. Fine, whatever. The thing is, I already have a lot of games where I can play as an angry man with swords attached to his arms. I've seen that a million times before. What I don't have is a game that embodies the feeling of being one of the children of the atom, one of Xavier's foundlings, one of the gifted youngsters protecting a world that hates and fears them. So now I'm going to tell you guys about my pitch for the best X-Men game you'll probably never get to play. Alright, picture this. The game is split into 2 parts. The first part of the game features you, a custom character with a mysterious mutant ability. You're living in a dorm at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Yes, I know the school setting is very much a thing of the past in the comics, but this big old mansion still remains as the most iconic setting in the X-Men series. So anyway, you control your character as you attend class. In class, the lovable Professor Hank McCoy, aka Beast, may ask you a history question or something. Maybe something based on X-Men lore, like where's the island of Krakoa located? Who was the first recorded mutant? You get the question right, obviously, because you're super smart, and maybe your intelligence stat goes up a little bit. Your fellow classmates take note of the fact that you seem to know your stuff. Then as class ends, you meet with your good friends, younger versions of the mutants we know and love. You spend time after school doing whatever mutant youngsters do. Training in the danger room, going to the movies, or maybe going on a date. But as the day winds to a close, we get to the second half of the game. Charles Xavier summons you and some of your fellow mutants. There's trouble afoot. Maybe Magneto's being a little stinker and you have to infiltrate Asteroid M and put a stop to his schemes. Maybe there's a Sentinel factory that needs shutting down. Either way, you and your party members use the skills you develop during the day to engage in a dungeon crawl through various recognizable and treacherous X-Men settings. Now, You may have noticed something by now. I just described Persona with X-Men. It's X-Men Persona. But the thing is, it's an idea that works really well. Because if you ask me, X-Men isn't just about walking to the right side of the screen and fighting robots. X-Men is about being part of a found family, a community of other mutants. Now that I've spent a lot of time reading X-Men comics, I can tell you that most of the time these stories revolve around dating and relationships. It's as much about superheroes learning to get along with each other as it is about superheroes fighting aliens and racist Americans. An X-Men game would work best as an RPG where you have a personal stake in the struggles of mutant kind, where you can feel the hatred from the humans firsthand while controlling a character you created. And what's weird is that, as we all know, the video game industry has a long history of developers ripping off each other's ideas. I mean, there's no shame in it. It's how most video games get made. And despite this, there aren't any Western developers who've tried their hand at making a Persona-style, story-focused social RPG. And I think the reason for that is quite simple. American high school is lame. Japanese high school is way cooler. So let's flesh out this game a little bit more, because saying it's Persona, but with X-Men isn't really enough to get everybody on board. We have to create a unique identity for the game. So I went on stream and I discussed this idea with all of you. We spent hours developing what I think is the perfect framework for an X-Men RPG. So first and foremost, I think the core draw of this game has to be the characters. When you play a social RPG like this, you're mainly trying to discover each character's unique little storyline. And the character interactions are a core part of the gameplay as well. In this game, our character is a mutant whose abilities are influenced by who they spend their time with. If you hang out with a lot of psychics, you get more psychic abilities. If you hang out with people that shoot laser beams, you shoot laser beams better. I envision the main character being something like Hope Summers. You're a mutant that copies the abilities of other mutants that you share a close emotional bond with. This encourages you to spend as much time as possible hanging out with other characters and growing your personal friendship rank with them. You know what, for the sake of the video, we're going to call this relationship rank an X-bond. Actually, I think that's like a glue or something. Construction adhesive sealant. Okay, we're calling it the X Factor. That's easier. So let's talk about the characters that you're going to form this X Factor with. Much like in the other game, the characters you rank up with may not exactly be deep enough characters to join your party, but some are. And firstly, we have the person who shares the dorm with you, your best buddy, a mutant that has your back no matter what. Everybody's favorite X-Man, Cyclops. Okay, I get it. Everybody thinks Cyclops is boring. Well, that's why for this game, we gotta give Cyclops a glow up. Since he's being aged down in this story, I envision Scott as being like a lovable jock, a himbo, if you will. Probably not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he is as loyal as a golden retriever, and he's always hyped to go out and make a better name for mutants worldwide. Think of like Fred from Scooby-Doo. Now give him eye beams and we have exactly what I'm envisioning. But as I said before, Scott is aged down in this universe. You guys remember like X-Men Evolution? I liked that show when I was a kid. That's a big influence here. And like in that show, I think this world would work best if most of the core X-Men are younger. But of course, we will have older, more mature mutants to fill out the faculty of the school. We need mentors. This is where we get Wolverine. See, Logan's just too old in any story, so he doesn't work as a student. It just doesn't make sense for the character. But having him as the Danger Room drill sergeant is a very appropriate role for him. Of course, you still have an X-Factor rank for him, where you form a closer bond to this grizzled loner. We've seen a lot of stories where Logan forms close connections to students. It's happened all across X-Men media. And it would be a really cool thing to experience firsthand with your own character what it's like to crack open his shell a little bit. Also, he's going to be short. He's going to be like the shortest guy you've ever seen. Just like he should be. I think Beast also works pretty well as an overall teacher for the students. He's the guy who asks questions and gives quizzes that can like raise your intelligence-based stats. I think Storm serves as a good vice principal or field leader for the X-Men. Whenever Scott is like unable to be the leader, I think it makes more sense for Storm to lead everybody. I also think Iceman and Angel, or Archangel if you're nasty, make for really good teachers as well. But really the main draw here is going to be with the rest of your party. So let's give you and Cyclops some more party members. And if we have Cyclops, we obviously are going to have to include Jean Grey. I picture her as like the class president, the teacher's pet. Maybe she's a little annoying. Maybe she nags a little bit, but you know that it's all because she cares about your well-being. And yes, the meme would be to kill her off in this game, but hear me out. What if we're never fully sure if she's gonna live or die in this game? What if she has a few close calls to keep you on your toes? It could even be like a running joke in the game. Like, even though she's so proper and she holds herself up very well, she keeps almost dying. And what if you're even more emotionally invested in her well-being because she's your character's girlfriend? That's right, much like in the other game, or even modern Fire Emblem, a good chunk of these characters are going to be romanceable. I see at least all of the party members as being potential partners for your character. Not the teachers, though. We're not doing that. I don't think that would fly with Marvel. But say you choose Jean Grey as your romanceable NPC. For the first time in your life, you might actually be invested in whether or not she lives or dies. Maybe the game pulls a Final Fantasy VII maneuver and kills your girlfriend. Or maybe it doesn't. Either way, the fear is definitely going to be in the back of your mind, and I think that's spicy. Oh, and all the characters are going to be bisexual. That's my mandate. It doesn't matter what gender your character is, they should be allowed to pursue any romantic option they want. It makes the game more fun. And like, the X-Men are already all a little bit gay anyway in the comics. Hey, Logan, I know what you are. The next party member is going to be Nightcrawler. He's too popular not to include. I know a number of people in real life who would die to romance this blue bastard. I don't even have to change his character. He's got Tumblr's Sexy Man of the Month written all over him already. Also, he is a very clever way to incorporate a fast travel system into the game. Next we have Gambit. I think a younger, edgy skater boy Gambit would be a lot of fun for this high school setting. And of course, we can't have a Gambit without Rogue. And she's not going to be the lame, emo, do nothing for 3 movies Rogue. She's going to be comic book accurate Rogue. Dolly Parton with the ability to throw a tank at somebody. But now we hit an interesting design dilemma. If everybody's romanceable, what happens to the canon relationships? If you romance Gambit, what happens to Rogue? Well, here's what we devised on stream. I'm kind of proud of this one. Once you hit a certain X Factor rank with a romanceable NPC, say like rank 7 out of 10 or whatever, their canon love interest is going to approach you and ask you to confirm or deny your selection. Basically, if your idea is that you want to romance Jean Grey, your best buddy Cyclops is eventually going to approach you and be like, hey man, are you and Jean a thing? Because I kind of like her. And if you go ahead and say, oh no, it's cool, her and I are just friends, then he's going to go ahead and date her, and that's it. You're locked out. She friend zones you. It's over. You snooze, you lose. But if you're like, yeah, her and I are kind of a thing, I got a little bit of a crush on her, then Cyclops is going to be like, oh, okay, that's cool, man. I'm going to go date Emma Frost instead. That's right. Emma Frost is our next party member. And you might think it makes sense to make her a teacher, but I say no, because I want to date her. I like Emma Frost, all right? But seriously, though, I think it would be way more fun to make her like the popular, stuck-up, mean girl. A character that you may grow to kind of hate in the first few hours of the game, but when she eventually joins your party, you learn that she's kind of just pretending to be cool, and deep down, she's really sensitive and insecure. I also think it'd be fun if you like went on dates with her and you made her do poor people stuff, like eating McDonald's. Like, I remember in the other game, if you play the third game and romance the rich girl, there's a cutscene where you take her to eat fast food and you find out that she doesn't know how to eat a hamburger. We should do stuff like that with Emma Frost. I think it'd be very charming. We could also have party members that get added to the group after we complete specific story events. Like I said, the other half of the game would be a dungeon crawling RPG. Each season of the school year revolves around infiltrating a hostile area and defeating the supervillain or anti-mutant racist person that runs it. So let's say that you successfully stop Magneto at the beginning of the school year. Well, then you might be able to add Polaris to your team, or Quicksilver, or Toad. Sure. I could see like the winter season revolving around Wolverine and your party infiltrating a Weapon X facility and finding X-23. I think that's a really cool way to add another fan favorite to the group. And also, I do think it's obvious that people are going to want Wolverine and Storm to be on their party for gameplay purposes. And I don't see why we can't make everybody happy. So let's put the social stuff on the shelf and talk about the gameplay. I envision that we have to make a 4-member party of various mutants for these infiltration missions. One of those is our main character who always has to stay present. Then we have 3 other members who are from our bench of reserves. And one of those 3 slots can be one of our teachers if we so wish. I do think the focus of the game should be on the students, but simply put, the game will not sell if we can't play as Wolverine. That's just the sick and twisted world we live in. But also, I think we gotta do some work to spice up the gameplay. See, I enjoy the other game just fine, but I'm honestly not playing it for the combat. I think the combat is kind of bad, so let's go ahead and take inspiration from another classic RPG, Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger has such good turn-based RPG combat, and it's a wonder why no one's used it in other games. Firstly, we have the active time meter. Turn-based combat kind of has a stigma attached to it lately, but if we make the combat fast and responsive, I think people will latch onto it. The active time meter means that you're going to be choosing your actions with a little bit of a time limit. If you're a little too slow, the enemy's going to get some extra turns. It's pretty simple, but it encourages quick thinking and it speeds along the combat. Secondly, our actions have to be a little more strategic. We aren't going to have a combat system where we click attack, and then click on the bad guy, and then we attack the bad guy. So our X-Men are going to have moves that have a very specific area of effectiveness. And let's just envision one of our X-Men using an ability that shoots an attack that damages enemies in a row. Tell me this doesn't work, all right? And plus, the last thing that we're going to add to this is combo attacks. These are going to be super attacks that combine the turn of 2 characters to unleash a team-specific ability. I don't know why more RPGs haven't used this, and it fits the X-Men so well. Like if our character has been hanging out with Colossus, their Colossus X Factor gives them some of Colossus's abilities, which means that they can initiate a fastball special with Logan or X-23. If you level up your X Factor with Colossus's sister Magic, you can create portals for Cyclops to shoot through. Maybe if you initiate a team attack with Rogue, you can let her absorb your power for a bit and just go Super Saiyan. I was already excited for the social aspect of this game, but honestly, I think a superhero game with combat like this would be a lot of fun. I mean, in general, I think that this game would just be tight as hell, and there are tons of other things we can throw in too. I didn't even get into the idea of exploring the city outside of school grounds and all the things we could discover out there. Maybe we can meet Morlocks living in the sewers. Maybe Deadpool can be a back alley shopkeeper who sells equipment and elixirs.
What you have there is not clips. These are mags.
We could also have stats for our character that influence what allies we can befriend. And you know, maybe Wolverine might not be easy to rank up if you don't have high enough bravery. Maybe you need higher mental conditioning if you want to date one of the psychic characters like Emma Frost. Oh my god, just imagine how fun a romantic subplot would be if the character you're romancing is a psychic who knows what dialogue options you can pick from. The possibilities for this game are limitless. And now that I've explained the framework of this game, I hope you feel the pain that I feel. You might be wondering why the hell I made this video. And I will tell you, I made this video to haunt you, the same way that I'm haunted. This amazing, made-up video game that I can't play has lived only in my brain for years now. And like the videotape from The Ring, I am cursing you to witness these concepts. Because the few people I've told about this game have all told me, wow, I hate that this game doesn't exist, and I hate you for telling me about it. I'm not delusional enough to say it's gonna have 100 characters and CG cutscenes and an open world and Matt Mercer's gonna voice Morph. Whether it's good or bad, this game would sell. You can't deny it, and it would at the very least serve as a unique and faithful X-Men video game. And honestly, it's a shame it will never exist. Or will it? Yeah, no, probably not. But listen, this is the most harebrained scheme I've ever had. But hear me out. I'm not a game developer. That is not my calling. But if a talented studio sees this video and reaches out, I've got plenty of other ideas for this game in my little brain that I couldn't fit into this video. This video started off as a fun little experiment, but I realize the possibility of this game existing has now gone from 0% to like 0.5%. But that's still higher than 0. So now I'm feeling hungry, okay? I want to play the X-Men RPG. I want all of you to have the X-Men RPG. And if you want it too, you got to prove it. You have to show this video to everybody you know. You have to infect them with the brain worm. You have to use all of your mental powers to manifest this game into existence. Or you can just get it trending on Twitter. That would work too. I want hashtag X-Men RPG trending online. I want to see Twitter posts that look like this. I want the name X-Men RPG to reach the ears of God himself. And you know I never ask you guys to do anything like this. I don't tell you to like and subscribe. I don't tell you to ring the bell for notifications. But this I want. I want it more than I've ever wanted anything in my life. Help me bring the X-Men RPG into this world. Let me make Emma Frost my girlfriend.